Welcome into Pro Football Daily. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thank you so much for tuning in here today. It is NBA Draft Lottery Day. Of course, we are not an NBA show here on Pro Football Daily, NFL show. But got me thinking about the 2024 NFL Draft. I know that's a long way away, but there are two quarterbacks that are primed to be top picks in this upcoming 2024 NFL Draft class. They have a ton of talent, ton of pedigree, and a lot to offer NFL teams. I know teams are going to be anxious to land these two guys. Two guys I'm talking about here, Drake Maye and Caleb Williams, two truly special quarterback prospects, putting up huge numbers at a young age and showing off true star potential, in my opinion. Caleb Williams, 6'1", 215 pounds. He's coming off a Heisman Trophy run between Oklahoma in 21, USC in 2022, 63 passing touchdowns with just 9 interceptions, over 800 rushing yards, and 16 touchdowns. Unbelievable player and production. Talk about Drake Maye, 6'4", 220 pounds, freshman in 2022 at North Carolina. 38 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, also 698 rushing yards and 7 more rushing touchdowns. These two prospects, unbelievable production so far for them. And it's not just the production. The physical skill sets are some of the best I've seen in quite some time. I've been covering the draft since 2018. These two guys are among the very best. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I'm not going to commit to one side or the other just yet. We've still got the entire 2023 season to see how this thing shakes out, to see how these prospects develop over the next year or so. And so I'm not going to make a commitment right now, but I am going to provide some analysis that will help you understand who these guys are as prospects on the field. I will break this conversation down into categories, so hopefully that will be easy to digest. When you're looking at age, right, that's always a factor when you're talking about draft prospects. You don't want a quarterback who's 25 years old. You've seen that. Age matters when it comes to drafting prospects. Drake Maye has the advantage by a little bit there. He turns 21 in August of this year. Caleb Williams will turn 22 in November. Not a big deal at all either way. Both of these guys are plenty young, plenty of development that they will go through over the next several years. But of course, with Drake Maye being a little bit younger, he's also less experienced than Caleb Williams, who has the advantage there. Played in 25 games at 2 different schools under head coach Lincoln Riley. Drake Maye, again, was a redshirt freshman in 2022, just doesn't have the amount of games under his belt that Caleb Williams does. Looking at pocket presence and maneuverability, which is a key factor when projecting guys to the next level, I think it's a push there. Both have really good sense for pressure. I think Maye has a slight advantage when it comes to sensing the pressure and avoiding the first guy, but Williams, a whirling dervish who just feels impossible to get to the ground at times. There's 10 to 15 plays every single game where he's just doing miraculous type stuff, and these are where the Patrick Mahomes comparisons come from. But they both show the ability to step up and avoid pressure within structure. I think you just see Drake Maye doing it at a little bit higher level at a younger age than Caleb Williams, in my opinion. But again, with Caleb Williams' unbelievable quickness and ability to avoid tacklers, I'm going to make it a push here when it comes to pocket presence and maneuverability. When you look at arm talent, I think Drake Maye has a little bit of an advantage here. His ability to throttle that velocity up and down and be pinpoint accurate, no matter the arm angle, no matter the base, no matter if he's on the run or in the pocket, I think his arm talent is incredibly rare. He can do it on the move, but both of these guys are pretty ridiculous when it comes to arm talent. Williams is very accurate in his own right, and they both have the arm strength to attack all levels of the field. So I'm not going to knock Caleb Williams at all when it comes to this category. I just think Drake Maye's arm is a little bit more special. When it comes to mobility, playmaking, advantage, Caleb Williams for me. We've talked about it a little bit already. He just looks like he was born to run around on a football field and make plays, without a question. But Drake Maye, make no mistake about it, he makes a ton of plays with his legs too. I think both guys can make you miss. Both can throw on the move from different arm angles, different platforms. But I just think Caleb Williams' ability to make people look silly, to avoid seemingly inescapable moments on the football field, I give him the slight advantage when it comes to mobility and playmaking, but both do it at a very high level. Decision making. I'd have to say this one is really close. I think they're both very good decision makers. Despite being playmakers, these are two prospects that really don't make a lot of bad decisions. They don't put the football in harm's way all that often. Not too many turnover-worthy plays at all. For me, I would have to go with Drake Maye here just because I think he plays a little bit more within structure, which isn't necessarily a negative on Caleb Williams, but some of these situations that he puts himself in, I don't know if he's always going to be able to escape at the next level. You've seen Patrick Mahomes grow in that way at the next level in the NFL for the Kansas City Chiefs. Can Caleb Williams continue to grow as a decision maker and not put himself in some of the situations that he does put himself in and then has to escape, make miraculous plays? Drake Maye, I think he pushes the ball into tighter windows at times. I think you see a little bit more of the aggressiveness with the arm there. But I think both are very good decision makers. When you combine the fact that they are such big playmakers and talents with the fact that they do not put the ball in harm's way very often, I think that bodes very well for their NFL futures as well. Talk about their release, the arm release. I think it's a push. Both of them can get it out very quickly from different arm angles, from different platforms. They both have a good, quick release, concise release. No complaints there on my end. Anticipation. This is something you don't necessarily see a ton at the college level from most quarterbacks, but you have to play with anticipation and throw with anticipation at the next level. I see a little bit more tight window throws, a little bit more throwing guys open from Drake Maye. But you want to talk about anticipation as a ball carrier, which is critical because both of these guys are going to impact the game with their legs at the next level. Williams is damn creative. He seems to have eyes all around his head to where there could be a guy coming from directly behind him. He knows it. There could be a guy coming from a 45-degree angle to the left or 45-degree angle to the right or 90-degree angle to the right. He knows where these guys are coming from. He's creative. He's able to make them miss and pick up some incredible chunk yardage with his legs. And he's not a 4-4 athlete or a 4-5 athlete, but his ability to improvise, to be creative, and to just contort his body is pretty much unparalleled from quarterbacks I've studied. Going back to 2018. Pre-snap, this is going to be critical as well. Both of these guys are going to have development in this regard, but for me, I think Caleb Williams is slightly ahead here, and he should be as a guy who's started more games. But both have that pre-snap processing ability. You see them being able to make checks at the line, being able to figure out what defenses are trying to do at times. They'll both improve upon that at the next level, but I think they can both bring a solid foundation that they're building upon in college to the next level when it comes to the ability to understand, comprehend, and process what's happening pre and post snap. So look, y'all, for me, these are two of the best quarterback prospects I've ever seen. For me, going back to Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, I kind of get that vibe with Drake Maye and Caleb Williams. Not the same type of prospects, not the same type of players, but at the quarterback position, for me, going back to 2020, 2021, that's the type of talent you're talking about with Drake Maye and with Caleb Williams. They're firmly in that category for me right now. And a lot can change over the next year, but I think with these two guys, both of them are ascending. Both of them are in a trajectory and a situation that they are going to end up being the first and second overall picks in the 2024 NFL draft. Yes, there are areas of improvement for both. There are things that they will both have to do at the NFL level that they really haven't done much of in college. But for me, the talent and the work ethic is so clearly there for both that it would just come down to the person. If I was a GM and I had to decide between these two right now, I'd be picking the one that I think fits the culture of my team, the one that I want to be the face of my franchise. I don't think you can go wrong either way, I'll be completely honest. But we will be monitoring these two quarterbacks over the next year or so, leading up to the 2024 NFL draft. Can't wait to see what they do in the 2023 college football season for their respective programs. I expect big things. Thank you so much for tuning in here to Pro Football Daily, second episode here. Really appreciate y'all for supporting the channel, supporting what I'm doing here. You can hit me up on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Let me know what you think about Drake Maye versus Caleb Williams. Who is going to be the number one pick in 2024 NFL draft? Right now, I think consensus would probably say that Caleb Williams is the top pick, but I think that gap will close. I think there will be more arguments, more conversations, more narratives that come out that have both of these guys kind of trading punches as to who is going to be the number one overall pick in 2024. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day.